So, here we are, 2019, back in lovely China, back with my dog, my little Fuzzbutt. Hi, Fuzzbutt. She's all fired up because she's been in the doggy hotel for the last 10 days and it's her first day home. And of course, it's gray and raining, typical Chinese winter. And it's supposed to be like this for like the next 2 weeks. So it's okay. I have tons of footage to edit from America. So it won't be like in sequence, but I'll be editing stuff from the amazing time I had in America, flying and hanging out with the peoples down there, shaking hands, and Little Stellar Fox and the Get FPV guys and all that fun stuff. But that being said, I was starting to unpack. And I kind of wanted to do, I'm still in my bathrobe and PJs. I kind of want to do a 2018 game-changing gear thing for me. This is the stuff that works for me and the stuff that I think is fantastic. So, as we go through here, let's start out with this. Start out with this guy, because this is definitely, hold on. As you guys know, I don't plan anything out. I shoot raw and off the cuff, so here you have it. Fat Shark HDOs. Top of the line for sure. Coupled with this rapid fire, definitely a game changer in my confidence with the video clarity. I've flown places with this rapid fire that my, before this I had the Fat Shark HD V2s with the big giant 50-degree screen. When I switched over to these, I really didn't have any issue with the screen difference because of the clarity. I mean, I got these on like a Friday and raced with them on Saturday with no problem. And coupled with this rapid fire, I flew places that I didn't have confidence flying with my other setups, with the LaForge and stuff like that. I basically flew the Fat Shark V2s and the LaForge all of 2017, 2018. And the clarity of these HDOs, not saying that any other setup is bad. Whatever works for you, but this was a game changer for me in the confidence, hands down, no doubt about it. The Mobula, the 2S Whoop class, the Beta 75, all that stuff that's coming out, definitely a game changer in that realm because they are a ton of fun to fly and very cool. The other thing for me that's been a huge game changer besides the Crossfire, hold on, is the Nirvana radio. And the gimbals on this thing, the way it feels in my hands, that digital link is freaking incredible. I mean, the digital gimbals is super sensitive, super incredible. I put custom springs in there. I got the reviewer's version, and I haven't had, I know some guys have had issues with theirs, but I haven't had any issues with mine. But I also haven't been like upgrading the firmware every time. I got one of the beta testing firmwares for the Crossfire control on screen, and I haven't changed the firmware since. Like, I fly pretty much all Crossfire, and all my models are bound to one thing. So I just hit Crossfire on there. I don't rename all my models and try to reconfigure them. I just run them all on one channel. You know, one thing. So all models are bound to Crossfire, or except for my Mobula, which is FlySky, and I haven't had any issues with any of it. God bless you. So there's that. I freaking love that Nirvana. 2207 motors. These came into play. They've always been around, but I think 2018 is where people really started realizing the difference. I was never real hip on the 2306 motors because it didn't change the magnet size, right? You just had a wider stator with the same amount of magnet pushing it. With the 2207s and having that little bit more of magnet, really gives it some grunt. What else do we have? I know some of this stuff has been around, but I'm just saying for 2018, this is what I like that I've found in the last year. Like this charger, this has been around for a while. This is the T6 Lite. This is my field charger, and it's also a great home charger because it goes up to like freaking 30 amps. In the field, I can charge my phone and cameras off of it with my field battery and my batteries. So I love that thing. That thing's awesome. What else do we have? The Popo motors. The Batman 220, which is now my go-to race frame. And Popo motors with the gate breakers. These are the 2206. Super efficient. Freaking fast, smooth. Awesome, awesome. My go-to race setup. The Popo motors, I fly a lot of indoor races here in China, and like we have a net that catches the things at the end, and you know, guys don't really practice landing their race quads too much and kind of starfish them in. I practice, I land, but anyway, I see so many guys with bed props at the end of the race take the gate or into the net or whatever, and then they're running around struggling to, you know, find their prop wrench, throw new props on it. They may be up again in the next heat, running back to backs. Where if I have that, I just pop the prop off, pop a new one on. I'm already on the line, good to go, and already thinking about my lines and calming myself down for the next race instead of having to chase my nuts and wrench and everything around. Chase my nuts. These nuts. The other thing I'm digging is the Brain FPV Radix. This flight controller, I have one in my Skadoosh, and it's freaking awesome. And I'm sure they've barely touched the surface of these things, of what it can do. Because it's running the Bosch gyro in here, which nobody else uses. And it's smooth right out of the gate. I've had zero issues with it. Thing flies freaking amazing. The OSD in it's amazing. Having that spectrograph to set your filters and everything. That's all I haven't even messed with any of that. I just put one in, and actually I put my rates in and flew it on the defaults, and I've had zero issues with it at all. Freaking awesome. What's next? The Brain Radix, the Popos. I know I'm forgetting something. The radio, the motors, TBS Crossfire Nano, digging that. Everybody using the smart audio now. So, yeah, that's basically my game-changing, especially the HDOs. Hi, dog. Especially the HDOs with the rapid fire and the Nirvana radio. Huge game changer for me. Really instilled a lot more confidence in my flying with those gimbals and having the super solid video link. So with that being said, what we got coming up, I got some a bunch of Lumineer gear when I was in America. We got the QAVR V2 slammed version that I'm going through right now, and some of my next videos coming up will be build videos on this stuff with all the new gear. I'm going to use the Brain in there, and the new I'll show you the new ESCs that Lumineer just came out with, Get FPV, and this slammed frame and what I'm going to do with that, and we'll do a whole build video on all of that. I'll go through the gear, how I set up the frame, all the little things that I do. We're going to be using the new Lumineer Zip Popo 2407s on these guys. These are the 2250s. These are not what I'm going to be using. These are going to be for my 6-inch. I'm going to use the 2550s on this. But anyway, that being said, that is pretty much Oh, one more thing. The cams now, the Runcams, like I'm a big fan of the Runcam Eagle Micro. I believe it's the best camera out there because of the larger sensors. Some guys don't like the aliasing, whatever. This is just for me. But the cool thing with the even the Runcam racers is having the VTX control. I know we had camera control for a while, but it was a little clunky and not so fast. And now the cameras, like I have the Runcam racer in here, having the VTX control, having the TXRX control is a game changer. I was at a qualifier for some races in Shanghai, and we started out in the day when it was light out and the gates weren't lit up, and I could see everything fine. And then as evening went in and it got dark out, and then they lit the gates up, the gates were like blowing out my camera, and all I could see was like a little hole to go through the middle. And I did have the cam control on, but it was so clunky I couldn't get the cam configured quick enough between heats to be able to see well. I still performed pretty well in it, even though I was blinded by the light. But having that, especially on a race setup, and being able to quickly flick between night tracks and whatever, turn my brightness up and down, is definitely a game changer. So, yeah, I think that pretty much sums it all up. And I'm looking forward to an awesome 2019 year. Said I got a bunch of edits coming up from when I was in America. We'll go through some more of this gear. We'll definitely do the build video on these QAVRs. I got 2 5-inch slams and a 6-inch slam. Oh, here's another thing that I think is going to be huge. I haven't actually put one on my quad yet, but I do fly the axes, the buttons, and the full-size axes. Anyway, they're around here somewhere. But these little guys right here, these little freaking micro antennas. Look at that thing, man. That thing is freaking awesome, tiny. Gonna be awesome on like a race setup, super durable. Yeah. That and the Acrobat, 3 inches. The new firmware that Betaflight is running, because I use Betaflight, has been amazing on the 3 inches. I think that's about it. So those are my top picks in no particular order for 2018 gear. And then we're off into the future. One last thing I just noticed sitting over here. This is my screwdriver, and I can't read it. I don't remember the exact name on it, but it's made by the same company that makes the TS100 soldering iron, which I absolutely love. And this screwdriver is freaking awesome. It works on a gyro, so whichever way you turn it, it just turns the screw. So when you're doing lots of builds, lots of long screws, this thing has been a game changer for me this year. Also, I believe that's called the ES something. Does it say it right there? Yes, ES121. ES121, that's what that guy is right there. Alright, so that's enough of me babbling. Those are my picks for the year. I think I covered it all. Brain Radix, blah, 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 blah. Yep, still running TBS, still running Crossfire, which is more than... Actually, I just started running that, I think. No, I think I did it a little in 2017 because I was using it. I've been using the Tango for a while until I got the Nirvana. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. Crossfire, TBS, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, all right, so that's it. And look forward to a crap load of videos coming out, edits from America because it's raining out, the build video. So I got stuff to do indoors, FPV related. Peace.